Hello YouTubers, and welcome to the Budget Stacker. Today, one of my most exciting videos ever. We're going to talk about receipts, keeping your receipts of your precious metal purchases and why that is important and can help you. I know this is something that's kind of regularly known to most stackers, but there's a lot of new stackers out there. So I just wanted to cover some of the benefits of having some good records on your gold and silver purchases. So if you want to check out what I have to say about that, stay tuned because here we go. Well, alrighty then. Time to get into our discussion about keeping good receipts. So, obviously, I'll probably show you a few receipts, but I'm not going to show you my address for good reason. Of course, we always try to have a anonymous identity here on YouTube for those of us who do stack the precious metals. At least most of us do. The people have, they kind of spread this out, and I do spread it out a bit so far as where it's at, but just better safe than sorry. But anyway, we're going to talk about receipts today. Oftentimes when you get a shipment, you're going to get something like this from SD Bullion that says, okay, this is what you purchased. They're kind of checking off everything. And some of them will have it on a full sheet. You can save those. What I do is I usually print out a copy of my order if it's an online bullion company, and I will then, if I get this is a sticky from SD Bullion, I'll just stick this in the back of it, kind of confirming everything that I got. But I'll keep that online. I'll print out that email of here's what you got. And then I'll usually make a notation. If it doesn't already have it, SD Bullion's pretty good about having the spot price on their email receipts. But I will make a note usually as to where the spot price was in silver and gold, depending on what I'm buying. So I'll have some comparison of how much I paid premium wise, and just really kind of an idea where spot was at during that order. So when they send you these, keep these, and I think you should, and I think you should have really a good receipt book. As you collect more and more, you're going to get, and then I have to get a bigger book, which is a good problem to have. But I have to get a bigger book. But I just keep these in a receipt book, 3-hole punch them. Most of them are just regular 8.5 by 11, unless you're buying from someone outside the country where they have a slightly different diameter. But it's a good place to kind of keep those. We'll go through some of these as I delicately remove my personal information, just so you can kind of see some of the reasons for having good receipts are essentially, again, to kind of keep track of how much you purchased each item for, but also it's a good place to reference certain things. Like if you get a silver bar and it's got a serial number like this one does here, it's a good place to note that serial number, so you do have a record of this is the bar that I bought for whatever price. God forbid if this were ever to get stolen, the great thing about these bars with numbers on them, it's like a serial number on a TV or something like that. So if that perpetrator who stole it was ever caught, assuming our current justice system would actually do that, in some areas it still does, thank God, then they would have this to track it as, oh yeah, this is reported as stolen, because you would have it on your receipt that this serial number and this 10-ounce silver bar was yours. So yeah, that's a good thing to put on there. There's other items that are more of a collectible bullion. This is from Salivate Metal, but this might be another good example. Certain things that are in limited mintage, they're more of they're bullion, but they're collectible bullion. These can be really good to have a record that you purchased it at a certain date, certain price. And also on the receipt, you can look up, and most of the bullion dealers will have this. But if you bought something from them and there's a limited mintage, they'll tell you what that limited mintage is, and you can put that on your receipt so that you know, oh yeah, there was only 10,000 of this minted, or 15,000, or 20,000, whatever it happens to be. That does make these a little more collectible, so that's good information to have. If you do happen to get any bullion that's of a collectible type, common bullion such as Britannias are not going to have that, because they're just going to make as many as they can sell, except for the U.S. government. They try not to make as many as they could sell. And certain things are just generic, and they're not going to have any limited mintage at all, and that's fine. But so yeah, receipt book can be very important in that particular respect. Keeping your records, if you ever were to have, God forbid, a situation where someone did steal your precious metals and you need to make an insurance claim, assuming your homeowner's insurance will cover bullion, which a lot don't, so you might want to check on that. Then at least you got a record of that. You got a record of what it is, and also if you had to, God forbid, claim a loss on that, then you've got that record as well. Another good thing about essentially having good records is that if you have bullion that's kind of interchangeable, let's say you got a bunch of Britannias, and let's say, God forbid, something happens, you need to sell maybe 10 of those, just to pick up a few extra bucks to do one little project or something like that, 10, 20, 30, whatever it happens to be. We try not to sell our silver. You shouldn't try to have enough emergency cash where you never really need to sell your silver or gold if you can. But things happen, and sometimes you will need to. So if that were to happen and you have a bunch of 2023 Britannias, and you bought some when the prices were a little higher, and some when you bought some where the prices were lower, if you're going to sell that, since they're all 2023s, you do have some receipts saying that, oh yeah, I got 12 of these at this higher price. These are fungible as long as it's the same coin, 2023. Use the higher price ones so that your capital gains are not as big, and opposite if you want to go the other route as well too, depending where the prices are at. But you can kind of pick and choose which price is more advantageous for you to have sold, and then you mark those ones on your receipt as being sold on such and such date. So if you've got capital gains, you pick the most expensive one. If you got a loss, then you want to go the other way, so the cheapest one. So but yeah, that's another good reason to have good receipts. So we'll take a look at some selectively edited receipts just to give you an idea. Okay, this is the back page of my receipt book. You're going to notice there is a little sticky on this one right here, and that essentially is one of these guys here that I'm just conveniently using to hide my personal data. These ones I just stick up here on the face of the receipt whenever I have something that I'm pending delivery. Occasionally you might find yourself doing more than one order every now and then, and it's hard to keep track of what came in. You want to make sure that you got everything. Things do happen in shipments. I've, thank God, not had any yet, but you do want to make sure that you have some method. This is just my method, where after I've taken the information from this one, I'll take it out. This is a rare occasion, actually, where this will be my last one, and I already need to take this off, where I'm kind of in between orders right now. So you notice on this side here, I give myself just a little page just to have fun with. These are, some collectible coins that I do have, and just use these little, sheets to put in the, cardboard flips on these. These ones I bought a long time ago. I think I got them from eBay. Stuck them away and never really looked at them since then. They are 90% silver dimes, but what I didn't realize is they're like perfect. They are brilliant uncirculated. So they're going to keep that. I guess the reason I just keep this page here on the book is just so I have something interesting, silver, to look at when I'm putting that last receipt in. So I just it's kind of just neat. There's a little gold gram one. I'll never buy any more of those, but I saw somebody use this flip method, and otherwise it just gets lost in the shuffle of all the gold bags, so I thought I'd stick that there. But that's just like my little oddity. It's not really something you need for a receipt book, but it does make it a little more fun, honestly. When I'm putting away receipts, I kind of check out this more collectible items. So let's get into some receipts, and I'll kind of show you what I mean about some of the records you can keep on these. Okay, this is an example. Actually, more of my sensitive information is on the other page, but this kind of shows you some of the things that I bought. Of course, it's going to have the price. These are kind of one-off, so it's really easy. Some of them were, even if they give you total value, they'll give you the price per unit, which is helpful. You don't have to do the math. But in this case, 2023 Australian 1 ounce silver koala, brilliant uncirculated because it's brand new. I just made a note here that it's a limited 300,000 mintage. That's not too low, but actually does make these older ones go up in value a little bit over time, because these are spread throughout the world. Australia is very popular mint. Perth Mint does a great job. So. And here's a Star Wars Darth Vader 2022 limited mintage of 100,000. If you get into the 5,000, 10,000, 20,000, that's probably better if you're looking for any sort of collectible aspect to the bullion. I know at Stormy at Empire Precious Metal, he flips a lot of this stuff, and that's important to him because the smaller the mintage, the better it is. And other things, they'll just give you information on them, and brilliant uncirculated, just kind of gives you an idea of the data that you have on those. This is an example of serial number. This particular serial number is really low. This is for the Emirates Gold Silver cast bar. It's Emirates Gold is the company name, and it's a silver cast bar, 10 ounces. But it has a serial number on it, 000425. So I made a note of that. God forbid if this ever gets lost or stolen, I can identify this as my bar and showing my receipts. So, that is really helpful and a good way to prove that that's your bar. So there you have it. That is my most thrilling video ever. I'm just kidding, of course. But receipts are important, and it does help us to be able to prove that this is what we bought, this is what we bought it for. And it's actually a good idea to give you, some reference so that when you're checking out your gold and silver, you know how much you paid for everything. You'll see how the prices change throughout time. And how good a deal you got. I personally use the AppMex portfolio tool. So every time I get something in from AppMex, it just automatically goes in there. But I'm buying from other bullion dealers too. So I manually input those, and that gives me a nice little listing of what I got. The value that they attest or give you for everything is pretty much what they would sell it for, or spot if they can't find it in their inventory, which is pretty rare. So, you take that with a grain of salt. You'd have to sell out on eBay to get those kind of prices. But, it gives you a good measure of where you're at. So every time I have these, I mark these receipts as checked off. I put it in the portfolio tool. And, that's kind of how I roll. So I have good records. So for my own stacking purposes, I can see how I'm doing, how things are averaging out. I have proof that I purchased these. So if I need to show proof, I can. If I want to ever sell these, I'll have a record of how much I paid for them. And if there's different ones that are fungible, I can swap them out. But that's probably the reason I use my receipt book. I always want to have good records. I don't put them on spreadsheets or anything like that. I just use the AppMex portfolio tool, which tells them a little information about my stacking, but that's okay because they're a trusted bullion dealer, at least for myself. So hope you enjoyed the video. If you do, give us a thumbs up. We always appreciate that. It does help us to keep us encouraged to make more videos. And I do thank you for watching. Hope you're having a good evening, dusk, and all morning, whatever time you have to be watching. Always would love to have your subscription if you can, and would love to have your like on the video if you enjoyed it. But thanks for watching. God bless and take care.